Hi, and welcome back to Grow Joyfully. Let's make baklava. It's one of my favorite desserts, and it really isn't that hard as you might think it might be. We've gathered all of our stuff together, and the first thing we need to get out is our phyllo dough. It's a little bit fussy in that you have to keep it moist. Not too moist or it would get gummy. Okay, I moved my camera down closer so we can see what we're doing here. Just take a 9x13 pan and grease it with, yes, you guessed it, butter. There's a lot of butter in this recipe. That's what makes it so good. So generously grease the bottom and sides of a 9x13. And then we're going to start working with the phyllo dough, however you like to say it. Like I said, it's a little bit fussy, but we're gonna make it. This dough is actually wider than the 9x13 pan, so we're just gonna kind of cut it off here before. There you go. It won't fit in the whole thing, so we're just gonna fold it there and place it in. Don't know if you can see that. It's hard to see what you can see. Okay, so I repositioned the camera so that you could perhaps watch me better to see what I'm doing with this phyllo dough. This phyllo dough happens to be wider than my 9x13, but that's okay. I'm just going to use part of the sheet. So how I start out is by getting the butter. I start with 2 or 3 sheets because it is so thin, you'll just end up ripping it. The idea is that you work up a larger base of the phyllo dough and then start putting on the nut mixture in layers. So there's the first one. And then we get the next couple of them. And again, this is not going to be perfect like somebody who's used to making it since they were young. I only started making it this last year. This stuff is so crumbly. Oh, I forgot to put the paper towel on, so that would help if I did that. It all comes out looking better than you think it's going to, because it's all nice and crispy and layered. There we go. Then just repeat the process. I will do this one more time to build up that nice base, maybe twice, because I like the nice thick crispy on the bottom before you start getting the layers. There's plenty of butter, so 2.5 sticks. So the recipe is actually a pound of walnuts, or it comes out to be almost 4 cups. 1½ cup of butter, or like I said, 2.5 sticks melted, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. And you mix the teaspoon of cinnamon up with the walnuts like I have done here, and I ended up pulsing them in my Ninja. You can see those. So those are ready to go. And then we have the syrup, which is 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Not the stuff out of the bottle, but lemon juice, because you will taste the difference like none other. I think it's one of the most subtle things that makes a difference in your baklava tasting really good, or just kind of good. 3/4 cup of water, 1/2 cup of honey. So we will bring you back when we have this all done. So here we've got a fairly good base of the phyllo pastry and butter. And now it's time to start adding the cinnamon and the walnuts, one layer at a time. Looks like we'll probably get about 3 layers out of this. It might look like it's a fussy dessert, but if you don't stress out about having the phyllo pastry perfectly laid down, it's a snap. You can figure it out quite easy if you don't stress over the little stuff. And frankly, lately with all the things that I have to do, I don't stress over the little stuff. I just get it done. Okay, so I'm going to finish probably another 2 layers of this, and I'll be right back. There's the second layer. There's the third layer. And then we put on another just plain phyllo dough, a couple of layers, and brush the rest of the butter with that. Okay, we did it. And believe it or not, this last sheet looks reasonably good. I didn't have to pull it apart. It was the last one. I could fold it in half. And yeah, I'm proud of myself. Now what we need to do is score it so that you can cut the pieces easier when it's all said and done and it's all cooked. So I'm just going to take a knife, and I saw a gal on YouTube this morning who said that she just cuts it down the center first. Make sure you cut it all the way through. Like so. And then you cut it in 4ths. Making sure you get clear down. The one gal that I listened to when she was making this said it's very difficult to get the phyllo dough to have perfection when you lay it out like this, but she likes to have it a little bit unperfect so that it looks more rustic. So that's what I'm going with. We're going with rustic. I'm a rustic cook, okay? And then you do it diagonally. And it does get a little sticky. So you can grab a little dish of water. Keep your knife from sticking so much. And as the butter hardens, it gets even more interesting to work with. See, I'm just trying to keep it nice for you guys. If I was doing it on my own, man, I'd be tearing through this thing. Phyllo dough flying all over the place. Because my family doesn't care what it looks like. They just care about what it tastes like. Now, let's see. We'll do it this way. Oh, there's the stick. Those are mighty big diamonds, but we're going to cut it the other way too. Again. And when I master this really fun exercise, I will be back. Okay, after a few choice words and a sharper knife, I have pretty well mangled the top. Thank you. And it is time to put it in the oven at 325 for 75 minutes. We'll be back as soon as it's brown and beautiful. Actually, I'll be back before that because we're going to make the syrup for the top. Okay, I've repositioned the camera and we are going to be making the syrup. All you need is a small saucepan, a cup of sugar, a three-quarters cup of water, 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, and 1 cup of honey. Yeah, totally calorie-free, but worth every bit. So we're going to put in the sugar. Put in the 3/4 cup of water. And we need to have 1/2 lemon, which is about 2 tablespoons. And I really wash these very thoroughly on the outside. Get all those nasty pesticides off. And then we will just squeeze this till we get 2 tablespoons. I think a little bit of lemon zest in it would be good too. All right, where are you? 1. Just barely. Yeah, they're right. 1/2 lemon makes just about 2 tablespoons. Now we're going to turn this critter on and start to stir it once we get our honey in. We've got to dissolve the sugar. There we go. Put it on single burner. The beauty about this syrup is that there's no sugar in with the nuts and the cinnamon and the butter and the phyllo pastry. But this is so nice and sweet that it soaks down in through the crunchy layers of baked phyllo and makes it very sweet and extremely palatable. So we are just going to stir that till it dissolves and wait for the baklava to bake, and we will be right back. Here's a little tip. I never throw the lemons away until I've used all the zest. So while I'm waiting in between, I take this part of the grater and I zest it all off. Then I save it in the freezer for whenever I need to make a lemon cake, lemon pie, what have you. Anything like that. It's a great way to use all the things that you buy and not have to throw anything away. Oh, it smells so good. The sauce is cooking. And it's almost dissolved. As soon as it's dissolved and maybe just barely coming to a boil, we will turn it off and take it off the heat. This again is 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of honey. Excuse me, it's 3/4 cups of water, 1/2 cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, and 1 cup of sugar. The sugar has dissolved and everything has just nicely combined together. So I'm going to turn that off and just let it, well, actually I'm going to put on ultra low to stay nice and hot for when we bring out the baklava. I've put the lemon zest in the freezer, the other half of the lemon in the refrigerator. I've cleaned up my workspace, which you should always do in between when you get a second. And I'm going to go sew on a kitty cat, a stuffy kitty cat for one of my grandkids while this is still baking. So we still have an hour. So I'll bring you back when everything is finished. Well, I think the baklava came out quite beautiful. Despite the lack of skill that I displayed. Here is the syrup. I'll turn off the stove, stir it up a little bit, and then you just pour it on the baklava while it's still hot. and it soaks down into the beautiful phyllo pastry, and you let it set and cool, and just recut the pieces, and there you have it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will try to put the exact steps in the description box or on the video as we go. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you come back and see me again, and have a great day. Don't forget to grow joyfully.